All right, here we go. Nick versus Shake. And this is Great Plains. At the top of the map, I'll introduce the players real quick. Light blue for Shake here at the top. He is playing autos. And at the bottom of the map, we have Nick playing Russians. What's your thoughts so far on this matchup?
This is just diabolical from Russia's point of view, unfortunately. They have a style that is either very Russian, very aggressive. However, Otto has all the tools up their sleeve to deal with aggressive play, including the strongest Minutemen in the game, in-base TP, in-base Mosque for lots of shipments, the best Cav Age 2, the delis, 5 Jan age up, pretty much undeterred could age up with 4 Deli or 5 Abus. So Nick's going to pull a real big one if he wants to be aggressive here, and he might take it slightly slower as a result.
Okay, fair enough. I'm looking at kind of like the overall map layout right now, and it seems like Shake kind of got exposed to gold mines right in front of his TC. However, Nick has a nice gold mine in the back of his base.
I love how the first thing you think about when you're looking at map balance is exposed gold mines. It does shout that you've basically been playing old school Age of Mythology for like the last time you're active or competitive.
Sure.
Because I have seen games essentially end on the spot because of can't actually get onto the gold and then that's it. But in AoE 3, that's really not an issue. And actually, due to map scripting, all the mines spawn really close to the TC, and it's not too hard to kind of get in, get out. And you can kind of build your buildings around the back mine or side mine to be pretty comfy at this point.
Right. Yeah. Well, when I play, I'm not the most competitive player, but when I play, I always look at the gold mine of my opponent. Right. If he has a forward mine, especially if it's a single mine, that really dictates my strategy, especially as a Lakota player. Like if he has a forward, then I'm just going to rush it as quickly as I can. I mean, that's where my head was at. But maybe it doesn't matter too much in this map. What are we thinking here from Russia? Or just
let's look at his deck. So bring up the home city. He's got his card in now, so he's got basically a standard play. There's no funky cards. I'm looking for cards like Surov Reforms, which is the Strelets to Musketeer conversion card at age 3. There's no massive shipments age 4, so I'm expecting mid-map blockhouse here from Russia, get on the front foot, try and be annoying, and I think Nick is just trying to kind of hope that Shake hasn't practiced or prepped versus Russian civs, but there's good news and bad news is this is not a ladder game, and I think both players had an eye on what other player was playing, unless it is like a true blind pick for this game. But Russia is kind of frowned upon as one of the worst civs at the moment.
I do agree with that, and Russia is one of the unrestricted civilizations in this tournament, as well as Dutch and Lakota for that reason. So speaking about your prediction here about Russia going for a mid-map rush, we can already see Shake kind of preparing for that with his base building here, more of a defensive style. And
kind of. And I think one thing to pick out here is Shake's gone for the markets. He's gone hunting dogs, which with Ottomans, you don't usually do that. It's a low eco civ. You have good tempo when you get to the third age, but there's a kind of branch of... well, actually, maybe not. There has been a bit of a theory change when players are now going to go market in transition, send in 5 vills. They've already sent in capitalism, so essentially 8 extra villager shipments between starting the game and landing age 2 to kind of get that economy to drive out Jan production, Jan double racks, Jan Deli or Jan Abus. But I think Shake's just think he's had such a good age 1 with some treasures, feeling comfortable, get a market down, get hunting dogs, maybe great coats to protect the villagers, send in 700 coin, and probably just going to age up behind. And he's seen actually mid-map. He's seen the mid-map position. He's seen the treasure as well. He's actually going for the treasure, and actually Nick's actually standing in the way, which he wants to try and snipe this. It's going to be tough, but quite important here. Big treasure, 210 XP, I think.
That's the first time we've seen a 210 XP. Normally we'd see a 320 XP, but these are pretty, these treasures often happen and show on these maps. Especially in the mid-map, you typically see treasures like this. He did end up getting it. I wonder if he shift click it.
Yeah, it makes Great Plains a bit of an awkward map because around the edges of the map, the treasures are diabolically poor compared to most other maps these days. They were toned down both.
Oh, yeah.
In the middle treasures, you get 320 XP, 210, 2 cows, and 30% explore HP. So it's a real mix of whether it's useful or not. So if your whole strategy is hoping to kind of get double XP treasures, take middle, and kind of profit, sometimes you can get disappointed big time.
I feel like if you have like a blockhouse or a tower, then it's a lot more likely that you would get the treasure, especially if you have military. But yeah, looks like he's doing a good job protecting his villas here. Hasn't lost any.
Yeah, so Shake's already aging up, so the aggression that Nick's putting on is not really hurting Ottoman too much. The backs will come out because he's got villas apart behind. There's no follow-up musks here from Nick, so TC5 is just ripping through his Cossacks, and this kind of early shipment that Nick has sent of cavalry has kind of done nothing, doing nothing, and Shake's just getting ahead, capturing the Jans as well. This is pretty dire early on, to be honest.
So more base building here by Shake. He's going fortress. I think he'll end the game at fortress. Let's have a look at his deck. Yeah, it's mostly a fortress deck here. I didn't actually think you could do this versus Russia, but I guess it's kind of hard to stop Otto from going fortress, right? Versus any civ, really. I mean, Otto is just going to go fortress if they want to, and nothing can stop. No other civ can stop them from doing that.
Yeah, so most civs can go to the fortress if they want to, go for a straight fast fortress, and the Ottoman, they're actually aging slow. They're aging up with units to kind of hold the time in, mainly because the TC's working constantly while they're aging up, so there's less of a reason to age up fast. If you did not know, Ottoman Minutemen, for some reason, are the best Minutemen in the game. They have multipliers versus heavy infantry, so these musks would get 3 taps by a Minutemen, 4 taps. It's very, very easy to pick them off.
I like it. So what are we expecting here? We got 8 Jans in, and then perhaps some Falconets as the card right after that?
Yep. 8 Jan, push out on 2 Falc, get Vet Jans. You see that Shake is going to be trying to raid. There's no real way that Russia can be forward and defending raids at the same time. I don't think Shake really needs the delis to hold. He's going to just play it nice and slow, actually. What you don't want to do is think you're so far ahead and just risk it. He's just going to take his time. He's got lots of XP. The Falcons will soon be in, probably about a minute and a half down the line. He's not that far away. He's got that in-base trading post getting the XP. The mosque at 0.8 XP per second, nearly a trading post in its own right. Jans are just so much stronger than a recruit, so it's just there's no real impetus. And now he's kind of finished his batch of Jans. He's going to go for veteran Janissary, and
he's going to get caught off here by these Cossacks. I'm not even sure if he killed any of those vills. I wasn't. I don't think any of them died. Oh, maybe one of them died.
So he's killed a vill, maybe 2. He's traded off a little bit. He's bought time. That's important. He's sending the Falcons. He's now getting vet Jans. He's just going to wait for this and going to take down that 4 blockhouse. Now, if he loses the Falconets and the blockhouse still stays up, but he hasn't truly broken Russia apart, then the game kind of starts from this point. But unfortunately, these Jans 2.5 times the strength and tankiness of these recruits, maybe 3x. They are very insane.
Very huge difference. Although I'm kind of rooting for Nick a little bit here, because I did see that Shake kind of wasted those cav almost in that trade with the Cossack. So maybe Shake might have a little bit of trouble versus Russia. Who knows, right? If Russia gets another two packs of strutlets here. But I do think that it's going to be very hard to deal with this Ottoman army, no doubt. Russia is the underdog here.
So Shake's either going to be all on food, saving up food for the Spahi shipment, or he's going to be continuing Jan production, and maybe going to go for Jan combat, which will take his Janissaries up to 303 HP, maybe 301, and you have to kind of. The Falcons are the damage dealers at the moment, but you've got the best units in the game to kind of keep them company, and drag box in terms of micro is very useful to kind of quickly move your troops to bring your Falcons to the front of the line, back of the line, into the middle of the line. He's going to do this now. Drag box to protect the Falconets. And a good play from Nick to go in there try and pick it off, but he loses in 3 Cossack, and it's just like, what can you do versus Mus Falk?
It's very tough. I mean, the only thing that came into my head was to pick off those cannon would be something like Cav Archer or Culverin, but he's nowhere near that right now. How do you how do you even deal with this?
Well, I think potentially stay in Age 2, kind of stagger mode Strelets. You got to be all in to the idea of staying in Age 2. A couple of Jans getting picked off there.
That's
but
good. Another great trade for Nick.
Just look at this part though. The recruit's just going to do nothing versus Vet Jans, and the two Falcons getting volleys.
This is definitely a slaughter down
here.
Yeah,
bowling alley, and that whole standing army has now collapsed, and the infrastructure's at threat.
I'm not sure why he's backing away from this. I think he should take this trade.
He kind of needs to pick off where he can. Unfortunately, Jans have 258. Now 300 on the Jan combat. There's so much HP, and with melee resist, it's going to take a long time for Cossacks to focus them down, and then it's just not cost effective or anything effective. Not to mention the 2x multiplier in melee for the Jan.
Nick has lost so much foundation here in his city. I think he's probably popped at this point. Yeah, he's definitely popped.
Sending coin, potentially trying to go for more Cossacks minimum timing, because the population space is kind of awkward for him. Kind of needs to lose units to train more, but
Minutes should be able to take out the cannons.
But, I think only in melee are they pretty decent. 75% range resist still holds, and another pull trick there from Shake. Gets that Falconet in the middle of the Jans, and the army collapses there from Russia, and that is
close. Very close on taking that last Falconet out, but GG, well done to Shake. I think
very clean game there. I think very clean.
I agree. I 100% agree.
That was a great game. Yeah.
Other than those
another day. Chicks there. Little Bo is gonna play Grogu in a bit. They're waiting on you guys. So.
Oh, great. Okay, I could cast that.
That should be a really good game for sure. Yeah.
I was just going to quickly say about this game though is I think the only questionable thing was the delis. I think maybe he should have just let one deli die and try to escape with the rest of the delis. I think maybe that was my only questionable battle, I guess. But other than that, the rest of it was very clean by Shake for sure.
I would agree as well. I think what Shake was hoping was that Russia would be more aggressive in his base, as in all his units, the infantry and the cavalry all pushing forwards, pinning Osman down in his base so that the Delhi were free. But in contrast, because Russia was pulling back to defend the raid or just taking neutral ground and defended the raid, that gave Ottoman time. So it could have been a really good raid. It wasn't horrendous in the end. If he kept those Delhi and didn't go for the raid, what you could do is just use them as cavalry to snare your opponent, trap them into a fight they don't want to take, and kind of walk up your Jans and Valks. If they can't escape because they're snared, then they kind of have to fight or to take heavy losses, and it's just
1, 2.
Another great one.
He did lose 2 Vils there. All right, I get you. And it did seem like the unit population, military unit population, speaking about population specifically, it did seem almost even there, but I guess the Otto army is just so much more superior. And not only that, but not even speaking about army, but more so composition, right? You got those beefy Jans and the Falconet. Very hard to deal with Russia. I'm kind of curious why he chose Russia. Maybe that's just his main civ. I think you mentioned it earlier, right? Briefly.
Well, I looked online. I actually can't find his profile at all, so
Okay.
I think he's unranked. I don't think he's been in
Got it.
quick search for
Gotcha.
quite a while. So
Okay. Fair enough.
he usually sits around 1900, 1950 either. I think if it's the right person I'm thinking of, decentish player, but it's
Nick.
unfortunately this is not fun games and have fun, shake hands at the end of the day. This is each win is critical if you want to push through, and you can't
Yeah, no
turn
doubt.
up to game one with like civs like Dutch or Russia.
I could.
So these civs as series progress, um, they might find a map and a matchup that they want to be picked as a counter pick, and they can shine. But if it's blind pick game one, then you just don't want to walk into
Mhm.
Otto Spain as either of those civs. They're near auto losses.
Matter of fact, I've been seeing only half the games as auto win from at least the games I've casted so far. But I generally do agree with you that auto is easier to pick up and easier to win with, just because you don't need that such high skill cap as you would with another civ, such as perhaps Russia in comparison. My thoughts are he played Russia because he's inactive. That was his main civ, and then he just didn't really have time to unrust, perhaps.